Solving thumb fatigue. This is an issue that has plagued a lot of us, me especially. How many times in the middle of a gig have you realized your thumbs are cramping up? And not your actual thumb here, but the muscles controlling it. This has happened to me countless times, and so I realized I've got to get to the bottom of this before it gets worse and before I get some kind of arthritis as I get older. Let's fix this while I'm young. So I think the cause of this, and it's probably pretty obvious because I think this is the only possible cause of this, is you're squeezing the sticks too tight. If you're squeezing too tight, then that's gonna cause a lot of stress here on these thumb muscles. If you go like this and you squeeze your thumb and your first finger together, you feel tightness down here. So beyond the obvious there, really the question is, why are we squeezing too tight? What's causing that? Is it some kind of nervous tenseness, or is it something more surface level? I realized the cause of a lot of my thumb stress was actually that my hands were dry. When my hands get very dry, I have a harder time holding the sticks because they want to slide out. I've noticed this especially if I'm playing loudly and if I'm playing an upbeat song, like something 120, 130, 140 plus BPM, playing at those tempos loudly with dry hands, I'm having to squeeze pretty tight to make sure that those sticks don't just fly out and to make sure I'm maintaining control and actually hitting stuff the way I want to hit it. And so I kind of felt like that was unavoidable. So I had to start the practice of putting lotion on my hands before playing. This really applies mostly in the winter time, and it definitely depends on what kind of climate you live in. But if you live somewhere where it gets very dry in the winter, then this can be crucial. Just keeping lotion on your hands all the time, which is beneficial as a drummer because our hands sometimes get extra dry as we play and our knuckles crack and we bleed. So we want to solve that anyways by putting on lotion regularly. But I noticed that by putting lotion on before I played, I could really decrease the amount of stress on my thumbs because the sticks were sticking to my hand better.
Just another thought, it's possible that your hands could be so sweaty that you actually have the same problem of the sticks slipping, just the opposite cause from the dry hands thing. And I've actually had that happen to me too. If I'm playing either maybe in a small restaurant for a long time and there's just not a lot of air circulation and it's crowded, my hands can get really sweaty, or if I'm playing in a drum enclosure, things get hot and humid very fast. So in those situations, I find it really beneficial just to use a microfiber towel. I'll use that on my forehead and everything too, but I can use that to towel off my hands and kind of get some of the sweat off my palms. Or if you have that problem to the extreme, maybe consider some of that gymnast powder, some sort of just sweat absorbing powder you can put on your hands that might help out also.
I also tried out the Vic grip sticks, which are kind of cool because they've got this coating on them that makes them a little bit stickier. I found that they worked pretty well when my hands were dry, but as soon as my hands started to get clammier, or if I put lotion on, then I would actually start to get blisters from the Vic grip sticks because they gripped so well. So in a way, they're a great solution to the problem, but I found that I'd have to switch sticks out and switch back to my normal sticks fairly quickly once I started playing. Otherwise, they actually gripped too well. Another option which I haven't tried, and you may or may not be interested in, are some of those drummer gloves. As far as I can tell, those do enhance grip a lot. I've never tried them. It'd be something to think about. But really the easiest tip that I learned out of all these things was simply don't wash your hands right before you play. It sounds kind of odd and maybe kind of gross too if you wash your hands all the time. I mean, we all want to be healthy and we all want to keep our hands clean, but I realized that washing my hands got rid of any oil or grease on my hands that would help me grip the sticks. So if I washed my hands and then immediately started playing, I was having to squeeze a lot harder and I was getting serious thumb fatigue. So maybe that's one of those really weird, unique things to me, but it makes sense that our hands do accumulate oil and grease and they get stickier over time. We can really use that stickiness to our benefit as drummers. So those are some of my surface level solutions, and those are assuming that there's nothing funny going on with your grip. Hopefully in 90% of cases, something that I just talked about will solve the thumb fatigue problem. But maybe it doesn't, maybe there's something else going on. Something that I also had to think about as I was focusing on not letting this thumb fatigue happen was making sure that I was playing in a relaxed manner the whole time I was playing. That kind of came back to analyzing, okay, how am I holding the stick? Where is my thumb? Where are my fingers? And what I realized that kind of led me to believe what I believe about not washing my hands and keeping my hands nice and sticky is I realized that this part of my hand right here, whatever you call these little points on your hand here on the top of your palm right before your fingers, they can get really sticky when your hands are clammy, and that's exactly where the stick is making contact right here when you've got these lower fingers wrapped around. So as long as this part of your hand is pretty sticky, you can actually be pretty loose up here at the fulcrum, right here at the pivot point, and you can play the stick loosely with good grip, good technique the way you're supposed to without it going anywhere because it's being held in place by this stickiness down here. Now, maybe that's unique to my case, but it makes a lot of sense, and I would imagine that this is probably true for a lot of people. So all that to say, I realized if I have my hands nice and sticky, then I could keep my grip very relaxed at the fulcrum point, which meant a very loose thumb that wasn't cramping up, and so I could play loud, I could play fast, and know that the sticks weren't gonna fly anywhere. Something also important is that if your hands are nice and sticky like that, you can make sure that your grip is staying at the same spot on the stick. Like it's not sliding up to here while you're playing or sliding down to here while you're playing. You're able to stay exactly at whatever that sweet spot is for you for the music that you're playing and the volume that you're playing. Basically, as far as the staying relaxed goes, it means that if you're playing loud, make sure you're still playing from your wrists. You're not playing too much from your arms, you're keeping things relaxed and flexible. And if you're playing fast, well, the same thing applies. If we're sure to employ the basics of good technique and make sure that we're playing from our wrists and we're keeping our fingers wrapped around the stick, but not too tightly, we're keeping things loose and we're making sure to not press down with our thumb, that should be problem solved, no thumb fatigue. But maybe there's still a little bit of tenseness going on, and sometimes it's not just our hands and our thumbs that are tense. Sometimes we can get really tense in our shoulders while we play. I used to notice this watching videos of myself playing early on when I was playing. A lot of times if I was going to the hi-hat, if I was playing like 16th notes on the hi-hat, some kind of fast groove, my left shoulder would kind of hunch up. I'd kind of get tense up here around my shoulders and around my neck. And so that's something that I've always had to focus on, staying relaxed. If I'm playing something fast, like right here, right in front of me, or playing a fast fill around the kit, it can be difficult to stay relaxed around my shoulders. That's something that requires a lot of intentional effort, and just as I'm playing, telling myself, okay, stay relaxed while we're playing this groove. The groove's not gonna feel relaxed unless I'm relaxed as I'm playing it. So being relaxed while you play is very important for more than just the physical aspect. A lot of times tenseness in whatever part of your body will come out in the sound and feel of your playing as tenseness, and so you wanna be relaxed while you're playing. Playing with good technique can lead to smooth, relaxed feeling time on the drums. So if you've experienced any kind of thumb fatigue or hand fatigue or even wrist fatigue, I hope that some of these solutions have helped you out. Whether it was something really basic and easy like keeping your hands sticky before you play and putting on lotion in the wintertime, or if it's just maintaining that habit of telling yourself to stay relaxed and not squeeze too hard. Sometimes a combination of those things is everything we need to instantly sound a lot better on the drums. If this helped you out, then subscribe and let me know that. Give the video a thumbs up and leave me a comment. Let me know you dropped by. If you did find this of value to you, then maybe share it with another drummer. Maybe it could help somebody else out too. Thanks everybody for hanging out today, and I will see you on the next video. Thanks so much for watching.